All right, guys, my name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton Sihon. Welcome to True TV. I'm very, very excited to have a new guest on, and I actually got to meet her in real life when we were in Los Angeles here a couple of weeks back, or a few weeks. It's been a few weeks now. But Amy and I have been trying to get our schedules together to even accomplish this, I think, like 6 or 8 months or
It's been
something.
a while now.
It's
It's
and
just
it's like,
been ridiculous.
I know. And then like I had something, we would plan it, and then something would come up, and then plan it, and then you had something, and then I plan it, and then it's just been like a ping pong thing. But we finally landed on an
Yes.
actual time, which I think is the most perfect time to do something, regardless of the fact that she had a huge storm last night, and whatever happened, and sirens are going off. She managed to be able to be here with us today, and we're going to talk about some fun things. Akashic records is one of them, and crystals. When I saw her in LA, she had a beautiful presentation and all of these amazing crystals, and just probably the biggest amount of crystals that I saw out of the whole presentation of anybody there. So I had to get a few, I kept coming back, and I was like, little ones would call out to me, and I'm like, oh my God, I need you. And there were several that I just was like, I bless you and I receive your love, and maybe another time. But without further ado, I would love for you just to share how you got into this space, a little bit about yourself and, what you do, and introduce yourself to my audience.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited for us to finally chat and do this. My name's Amy Robeson. I'm an Akashic Record Master Teacher. I teach people how to open their Akashic records using crystalline energy. I also speak light language and do DNA activations. I started this in basically out of necessity and need. I was in a place where I was in a really dark place where I didn't want to be here anymore. And I started getting intuitive hits that I needed to do yoga. And when I finally went to a Bikram studio, which is now called Hot 26, for the first time, I looked it up, and it was like a block from my house. It was a brand new studio. It was like, I felt like I came home. Like it was like a coming home party. And then from there, I just followed the energy that would present itself to me. And that led me to move to Charleston. Then I cracked my tailbone for the second time in my life. So I couldn't do yoga because I was in so much pain. And that led me to wanting to go deeper down my spiritual journey, from meditation to dream interpretation. And so anything that I could, that I got a yes on doing, I would do it. Anything I would get a no on doing, I would just I would pass on it. And I just followed the energy, and never once would I think that I would be teaching the records or speaking or doing any of this stuff. But it's so much fun, and it feels like this is my calling and I'm meant to be doing it. And the records are one of the most amazing tools out there.
Awesome. Well, if you don't mind, can you share a little bit for those who are watching, just a little simple definition of what Akashic Records is? And then
Yeah.
how do you utilize crystals to get that access? I'd love to know.
Yeah, so the Akashic Records is a field of infinite possibilities. Akash means sky or cosmos. And every word, deed, thought from the moment your soul is incepted, meaning when your essence comes into existence, it starts recording in the Akash. And we can go into the Akashic Records. This is also called the Book of Life. It's your book. And we can go in and ask for love and guidance and support in any and all areas of our life. And so no question is too small or too big. And the guardians, also known as the masters, teachers, and loved ones, will share answers with you based from a place of love, and taking a look at everything about your soul and everything your soul wants to do in this lifetime, and also your ancestral lineage as well. And so you can ask questions to what to make for dinner, to why do I keep having this pattern in my life, or how can I have a better relationship with my spouse, or how can I build my business? Lots of different types of things that you can do in the records in terms of the way that you utilize them. And then for me, I love crystals. I've been around crystals my whole life. My mom's collected crystals. My grandma's collected crystals since they were kids. And so when I started consciously dabbling in the Akashic records, the guardian showed me a very specific method on how crystals can be used as keys to open the records. And so inside of my Akashic record program called Sacred Awakening, we do a very specific attunement, and we pick out very specific crystals for each student. Each student gets their own crystal keys that unlock their records, and we do a specific method through the Sacred Awakening method to open them as well.
Awesome. Do you feel like there's some types of crystals that have a little bit more access, or is it?
Oh yeah, like there's specific crystals that are specifically for accessing the Akashic records that have like an amplified crystalline codes to connecting with the records. But just because the crystal doesn't have that specific coding, we'll say, doesn't mean we can't use them to unlock the records, because everybody's energy is so different. And some people need more grounding, some people need more water, some people need more fire, some people need more earth. And so it just depends on the person and what we're picking out in order to connect them to their records and their keys.
Yeah. So, well, I know like labradorite or some of the others are more for like intuition. I didn't know if there was like a specific kind of general type of crystal that.
Yeah, rubies are an Akashic record stone. Candle quartz, blue kyanite. So it just depends on what it is and how you want to utilize it as well.
Interesting. But again, it depends on your signature code.
Because we give labradorite to students all the time. Like it just depends on the student, because it like we're made up of elements, right? And so the crystals are made up of elements, and some people need more balancing with grounding, while some people need more opening up of the upper chakras. And so it just depends on what it is. And we do a special combination where it's a unique set of keys for each student.
Interesting. Well, I know with Lemurians, I think it's called Lemurians, the crystal that has the record keepers in it. Is that the Lemurian crystal?
So, the Lemurians they have ridges, and they're very connected with the ancient civilization of Lemuria, but they can also help with the Akashic records as well.
Yeah, I have a few, and I actually didn't know much about crystals at all until I got a few, and then things started changing pretty quickly. I had a crazy encounter, and then I had a deadline for a book, and the encounter was supposed to be written out regarding this book. And my publisher called, and she was like, "Oh, you have 8 months, da 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 da, and just get a chapter to me, whatever. Try to give me some sort of a deadline timeline situation." Sorry, cats and dogs having a good time here.
When she jumped up, she scared me. Your cat.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was
like, oh no, you're good, because I was like, wait, what just happened?
She wants to be in the frequency, I guess.
I love it.
But yeah, and then last minute she contacted me one morning and was like, "Hey, I was just looking at the timeline of this big event that you have, and if you want the book to be there at this event, we're actually gonna have to back it up to blah blah blah, and I'm gonna need it like in 4 weeks." And I immediately told her no. I was like, "Yeah, I just felt rushed, and there's no way." And I've written several books, but I was like, in my mind, no. And that was my first. And then after I got off the phone, I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, the book is about miracles. It's the science of miracles. And remembering the frequency of love, and I was like, I just literally told her no, when instead maybe I could just say, hey, let's create this in a miracle form. And so I called her back and I said, hey, I apologize and I recommit. I am going to write a chapter every day for the, just sit down and hunker down and write a chapter every day. And I'll get this to you and we'll make the 4-week deadline. And so the next morning I set aside my time and had this Lemurian. And I don't know why. I just thought to myself, I'm going to just hold this on my lap. And I put it on my lap and I got out my computer and I started typing my first chapter and it easily flowed into the second. And then I was like, well, I still have time before my appointment at 4. And so I just kept going. And then it was like chapter 5, chapter 6. And then I think I was at chapter 11 or 12, or I don't know, towards the end where I thought like we're getting close to be done. And so I called the people who we had the appointment with at 4. And I was like, hey, I know we have this, but I'm kind of in this like flow and
You're in
whatever.
a good flow.
Yeah. And I'm like, do you care if we move this till tomorrow? And she's like, no. Well, I stayed up till 11 p.m. that night, got the entire book done, sent it to the publisher. And I was like, hey, just kidding. And, and I did end up in the edit process adding 2 more chapters that of some things that happened out after that I was like, ooh, this would be good to add. But other than that, the whole book came in like 12 hours.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
I know. And I really attribute it to that Lemurian that was sitting on my lap. I just literally had it touching me on my lap while I typed. And I don't even think I consciously said like, hey, will you help me do this? Like, there wasn't.
No, because you don't have to have words with them either.
What's that?
You don't have to have words with the crystals either, because it was calling to you and you listened and it was like, here, let me help you. Because what the crystals do is they send, they repel and attract. So whatever needs to be repelled, they repel that. And whatever needs to be attracted towards you or with you, they will do that as well. And so they're amazing light beings that want to support us in our journey. And we give them connection support and amplification of their jobs and duties here on earth as well. And so good job and bravo for like listening, because it's amazing that you channeled the book and you stayed in flow with it. Because most people would have just took the 4 o'clock meeting and broke the flow.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were just in New York doing a conference up there, and we actually were staying in the hotel where Tesla lived, had his laboratory, and actually died. There's a museum there and all that. And I'm a big Tesla fan. And Tesla, like Tesla as in Nikolai.
Yeah, I know exactly what you meant.
Yeah, he says that crystals are alive and have consciousness. And, we use crystals and everything. So there's people, when I first started getting into it that were like, oh my God, that's the devil, and just crazy religious.
Crystals run our whole world.
I know. I mean,
our technology, the computers, cars, like everything, like they have perfected growing the crystals for lab grown so that they have it such in a precise calculation and growth for the technology that we need it for. And it's amazing. If you think about it, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty cool how I feel like just like plants are here for us, that these crystals are literally dug up and in the ground for whoever finds them.
Mm-hmm.
And that we get to participate with whatever their frequencies and their energies of. I've done a lot of testing because I'm a big science geek, and you could test someone and they could be weak. And then I put this just anywhere in their field. They don't even have to be touching it, and they're stronger just by it being in their presence. And then I take it away and the person goes weak again. And it's just like, wow, one of the big questions that I get quite often is, how do you clean your crystals or clear them? And is there a difference between clearing and cleaning?
Clear, yes. Cleaning is going to be where well, yes and no, because it's kind of a loaded question. But it's just how we define it. So let's define it. So when we're cleaning them, we want to get out any heavy energies that are within the crystal. The crystal only has a certain volume of energy it can hold in terms of repelling and contracting and attracting. And so let's say that's 8 ounces, just for number's sake or volume's sake, right? And so once it gets to that volume and it's at capacity, we need to clean it so that it can support. Now, you can call that clearing as well, but the way that I view clearing it would mean to clear it of any previous programming. And so you can clean and clear or completely clear it of any previous programming that it might have.
Yes. And that's why I also too, I'm really, really like specific about who I get my crystals from. I'm going to do my clearing when I get it. And also if it's from something or somebody that has a really good vibe, then that recording is literally on there. I mean, that's why I bought some from you, because I was just like, okay, she's got a good vibe. I love the purity, and I don't mind that being in my house.
Yeah. I got goosebumps too. And I do special things to them. Like I do special activations and clearings, and like I do upgrades on them. I do all sorts of stuff with them just because I'm responsible for them, and I'm responsible to find their soulmates. And so it's really fun to see the evolution and the change of them. And I'm constant. You would go nuts. Like I've gone nuts since the expo because I have this like really huge calling towards them right now. I always have a huge calling towards them, but since I saw you, like I have probably more than quadrupled my inventory. And like we're going to be doing like special things with the crystals too. So like I'm going to be starting a live show that in every type of crystal, mineral, gem, like is going to have a special light language activation with it. So anybody that purchases it, they can get access to the light codes that want to be the light code matrix that's within the crystal, so they can set intention and connect with it on a deeper level. And I'm really excited about it because some people are just attracted to them and they don't really know how to work with them. And then some people do know how to work with them, but they're still learning, or you've been doing it forever, right? And so with this, it just makes it like it's like pressing the easy button on connecting with the light codes matrix that's within the crystal. If anybody wants to connect with that piece, they don't have to if they don't want to, but I'm super excited about it.
Well, I love that. I just love the frequency of it. You know, I started out actually first with essential oils and understand the frequency of essential oils. And then every time I would look, not every time, but when I would look, oftentimes added an essential oil and finding the frequency, something would pop up and it would be like, oh, did you know that crystals have this frequency too? And this particular one would work really well with that. And so I tried to actually find a reference guide for crystals and got one. And then of course I have several essential oil reference guides, but I had never found one that had a marriage of both where I could just easily look up, okay, labradorite works really well with this essential oil. And so I started a PDF. As I would find things, I would just put it in a little, doc. And then my friends were like, oh, can you send me that? Because I would like a copy. And I was doing that for a few people. And then everyone was like, oh, you should do a book. And then I actually decided I'm not going to do a book. I'm going to do a card deck because that way we could individualize the crystals to, like, if whatever you're drawn to that day, take it and put it in your purse, and just a little card, or take it in your, sleep underneath it with your pillow or in your mattress, or bring it in the car for the day, or put it in your kid's backpack or their lunchbox or something, whatever they're, drawn to. And what's interesting is essential oils, whatever stinks to you is what you need. But with crystals, it's more of a like how you feel,
Yeah.
and or what you're physically drawn to, like, oh, that's really pretty, and I keep coming back to it. So I think that might be calling me, like a literal, like a call, you know.
Yeah.
And not
It's
that
like
we
a
can't
big
have,
shiny object that says, look at how pretty I am.
I
Come look at
know.
me.
And not that essential oils can't have intuition too, because they're alive and they have frequency, they have
Yeah.
energy, they're very intelligent. And there are times where I will grab one just intuitively and I'll start using it and it does smell good. And then I'll go on my biofeedback and it's like, oh, you need this. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I just put that on this morning. But I just thought it was cool how literally I could take even the image of the card, like with the card deck, and
Mm-hmm.
I could like put lavender jasper in someone's field and they would be strong, take it away, they would go weak. And I could give the actual crystal and it would do the same just with the imagery and the words of what
Yes.
is spoken. Like, there's so many things to frequency and power. And that really made me do a deep dive in my home too, because I'm like, what are the labels on like my clothing and like my jewelry and then the name of the nail polish I use or what, just because it's like, how
It
is it?
all has meaning.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very intentional with words and
Yeah.
not only what I speak, but what I'm thinking about and definitely anything that was going to go on my body, to make sure. But crystals are definitely in that category too. Like I never buy crystals online. I so far anyway. And plus you don't know if they're fake,
Mm-hmm.
so
Well, you got to buy from someone that you trust and know. And
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And I'm assuming you probably have a website or something where you have your
we're
stuff.
getting that all ready. So I'm not sure when this is going to air, but we're going to be doing a live crystal show every week on Facebook.
Cool.
And so we'll like have a featured table of the week, and then we're going to ship worldwide, and then we'll also have on my website. We're getting all the tech stuff ready. We'll also have mystery boxes and bundles. So like prosperity, protection, love, soulmates, stuff like that. And then I'm also doing grids. Grids are my most favorite thing to create when it comes to crystals.
Okay, explain grids for those who are watching who don't know anything about what that means.
Yeah, so grids are a combination of stones that you put in a grid formation. It can be in a grid formation based on sacred geometry, or it can be freeform. And each stone works together in harmony, and it acts as a portal with your intention. And so it depends on, because when you put things together, when you put a group of things together, they're amplifiers for one another. And so a grid can have any sort of intention. And I love creating grids because it's like super meditative for me. And like I can geek out and I can make really small ones and I can make really big ones. And so I've been selling crystals, sharing crystals, providing crystals for a really long time. And I haven't brought them out like publicly in a really long time. Besides if you came to a retreat or if you bought something in our program, like my Akashic Record program or something like that. And so I'm super excited for our grids to come out because I used to only make them available at in-person retreats, and the crystals want to get out to more people. And so we're gonna make it happen.
I love that. I love that. Well, we're going to put all your information here in the links too. So when this does air, people can make sure and follow you. I'm sure you're on all the platforms. I've seen you on a few. But that way people can connect with you and see what you're doing and see, when that retreat's coming up, or I guess you're going to be probably at the expo again next year.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun to see you. What were you sharing on there when you were teaching that? Because I didn't get to go to your class.
I know, like we were so busy. Like it's just insane, like the expo. For anybody that's never gone, it's like one of the largest, longest running spiritual conventions that you can go to. And it's really cool. I spoke about the ancestors and the Akashic records and your soul lineage. And we did an ancestral clearing, blessing, and activation inside of the Akashic records. And then I also talked about the records and light language together. And we did a really cool light language activation as well. Both talks went really well. And then I was on a panel for interdimensional beings, so more light language stuff.
Interesting. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out from your very busy schedule and family time and all the things that you do in life to be with us for this little segmented time. Where can people find you? I'm going to have it all in links, but just for those who are listening on Spotify and our Heart Radio and all those little things that don't have the physical visuals, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can go to my website. It's theamyrobeson.com, which is TheAmyRobeson.com. Or you can go to theamyrobeson.com/free, and we have like 20 plus free healings that you guys can take advantage of. And then you can get notified when we do start the crystal show and do free. I do tons of like free masterclass series and things like that regarding the Akashic records or light language or DNA. And so, yeah, those are great places. Then you can just search for Amy Robeson on the social media platforms and you'll usually can find me. If you see a realtor, that is not me.
That's so funny. I'm laughing because I'm remembering that when I was asked to come to the expo, they wanted me to do some kind of banner or some kind of digital advertisement or something. And I was like, oh, can you give me like a guide on like what it would look like, just so I have a visual of what you guys are asking. And they sent me a picture and I used it, and like you and I had been talking, I think already for a month or two, going back and forth via email, but not seeing each other. And then anyway, we get to the expo and I realized, oh my God, you're the lady I've been looking at this picture to do this digital thing the whole time. Like that was the example of who they sent to me. It was you. And I'm like, oh my God, I know her. That's so weird.
It was so funny because your husband was picking up boxes downstairs, and I figured out right away he was your husband because I was just talking to him, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, my wife is the one that's speaking," and then I was like, "Oh yeah, who's that?" And I was like, "Wait, that's your husband! Like that's awesome."
I know, so crazy, the synchronicity. Yeah, he came up and he was like, "There's a lady here that says she knows you," and blah, blah. I'm like, "It has to be Amy. It's got to be." And I swear, like your booth, whew, I mean, high vibe, like the beautiful colors, so clean, such a beautiful, like just literal display or present. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, like such intent and beauty of where every single thing went. And you had a great team there. And I mean, I went all over and did, there's several rooms, there's upstairs, there's downstairs, but I just kept on like circling back to this one. I'm like, I just want to stay in the presence of these beautiful people and these amazing frequencies. It was just such a good vibe. So I do encourage you guys to go and check her out and see what she's doing with her retreats, and definitely check out when she gets her Facebook lives going to do these crystal things, because I'm sure people ask me all the time, like, where do you get the stuff? And I'm like, I always say get them in person. And I used to have a source where someone could go online, but she's no longer with us. And I'm like, now I can give your information. So
thanks, my dear. This is a huge deal for me because it's a lot of extra work, but I have someone here locally. And so I'm just so excited that we're going to be bringing this out because the crystals are excited. I'm excited. Everybody's excited. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bless you so much. All right. Bye-bye.